Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Laying down the law. With Steve Foster, Rod Chico Tanner, and Ryan Willett.
Good morning. We are laying down the law. And I'm your host, Steve Foster, alongside Rod Chico Tanner, the governor of the South Texas AAU, and Chris Fernandez. Gentlemen, good morning. A lot is taking place, a lot going to take place. College football championship tomorrow, Georgia and Alabama. Dallas comes away with the win. Kansas City squeaks out a win against Denver yesterday. What say you, Chico?
Well, of course, the conversation will go on and on about the Cowboys game and how, score was and who was playing and so forth. But, everybody's closing out the season. So we'll get into that more. And we all kind of know what that's all about. And then as far as the college championship, I know we're going to dive deep into that one, and I'm not going to say my pick just yet. We'll save that for later in the show. And then, man, it's just so much college basketball, NBA. I mean, just a lot going on, a lot of stuff to talk about, and dealing with the still COVID protocols and things of that nature. It's twisting it all up.
Chris.
Yeah, Chico, you're absolutely right. So much going on in the world of sports right now. College football, the national championship coming up tomorrow, the NFL going into the playoffs, wild cards are up in the air to see who's going to get those. Just a lot happening in the world of sports right now. Exciting to see what happens this week.
Well, I think a lot has happened. Chico, I don't have any issue. And I said when I did a preview call back home to ESPN El Paso, I thought that the Cowboys should leave their starters in through three quarters. And, I don't really like the week off bye. I know people say, well, you can heal up and things like that. But once you've played, and the season's moving and you have that momentum, I think it was great to see Zeke finally get, 80, 100 yards and close and being able to push the pile and make it 3rd and 1 by picking up 5 yards on 2nd down with runs, and the emergence of Cedric Wilson if Michael Gallup is going to be banged up. That gives a lot of teams who may potentially play Dallas some more things to think about. Here's where the rest came from. Your defensive guys, the ones that really exert the punishment, weren't playing. That's where you gave people the rest, including Micah Parsons, who was on the COVID list.
So the other thing I'll add to that is I did like the fact that there were at least 2 quarters of football played with some starters, and as you said, went into 3. But yes, everybody's concerned about injuries, but knowing that you may have to play with a different cast, a different lineup, this was an opportunity to get some reps in, and if there's any kinks, you get to work them out right now. Those players that didn't get a lot of reps throughout the season got some reps. So there's a rhythm that you can kind of go into the next round with. And that's the part that I think that you may be alluding to is, sometimes you don't want to get stale. You don't want to sit around too long because you get a little stale and then you try to freshen it up. But next thing you know, it's 3rd quarter and you're down 14 and you're still trying to get it freshened up. It may be too late, because it's win or go home here now.
Right, because it's against a playoff team. It's not just a regular scheduled game. You're playing against someone who did have to play and who may be in rhythm, motion, and enjoy the consistency that they have had to find to be in the playoffs.
Yep. And then the other thing we were talking about, with the reps, with those people who hadn't, or those players that had not been on the field very much. I think that's very important because, with this whole COVID scenario, you just don't know who you're going to have to line up with,
Yeah, Chico, you're absolutely right. You want to get those guys in there who haven't played a lot, that may have to see some action because of the COVID protocols, or perhaps injury. So getting them reps now is key to what goes on in the future games coming up during the playoffs.
Well, and like they say, they talk about depth, and I think if you talk about tomorrow night's game in the college football playoff national championship, Alabama's got more depth. They're playing a running back who patiently waited 4 years to get an opportunity, and it's paying off, and it seems to be working in space. No transfer portal, no, just straight transfer or anything like that. It was, I'm going to stay the course and then look for my opportunity. And again, close to home, Priest Holmes didn't get all the fanfare per se that he did in the NFL at the University of Texas. He played. He was on the field, but you didn't hear about him as much as you did when he was prevalent with the Ravens and the Chiefs. So that story of being patient and having it pay off, I think will pay dividends for Alabama. And if Georgia can get in rhythm, as you say, Chico, and their quarterback doesn't become disrupted by an Alabama defense that will be bringing heavy pressure, I think it'll be an interesting game, although I don't bet against Alabama in this case.
Well, see, you went ahead, and I thought we were going to save that for later. So,
I could crazily pick Georgia, but I'm just saying. But I had to give some facts out. The facts had to be out.
So we'll sit on those facts for a little bit.
Okay. We'll sit on those facts. I tell you what we won't sit on. There's a lot of scenarios of the seeding and what teams may be in and out in the AFC, depending upon wins and losses in today's NFL games, gentlemen, including Chris's Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it's an ugly scenario for them, and so much has to happen in order for them to make it into the playoffs. And you just it's one of those things where you're hoping for the best, but when you look at the matchups, reality kind of sets in, and you think, it might be the end for their season. But who knows? You never know. On any Sunday, anything could happen. You've got the matchups. You got the matchups with the Colts and the Jags, and the Jags have been pretty dominant when the Colts come to their stadium. So there is that was pointed out to me earlier this week. So there is some hope for the Steelers. They've got to beat the Ravens today, which is always a good matchup. It's always a physical game between those two teams. So we'll have to wait and see what happens at there's a 12 o'clock kick for both of those games. So interested to see what happens there.
Well, I know you'll be glued to the TV.
I definitely will, Chico. Definitely will for both games.
Yes.
Could be Ben Roethlisberger's last game as a Steeler, depending upon, how things work out there. 18 strong years, though.
Ben made a really good closing at home at Heinz Field last Sunday night or Monday Night Football. He's had a good career. He's had a great career. I was looking at his stats, and he's top 10 for a lot of different scenarios in being a quarterback. So hats off to him for a great career. Hats off to the Rooneys for keeping him around as long as they have. And you end a good career with a win today. Whether or not you make it into the playoffs, he's had an awesome career with an awesome team.
Hall of Fame bound?
Maybe not first time around, but I think eventually Ben will end up in the Hall of Fame. He will have a gold jacket.
Chico, Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame before Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
I'm gonna say yes. I mean, Eli has done a lot in the NFL. He did a lot with the Giants, and he's had a great career. His numbers, stand out, and so I think that Eli will probably go into the Hall of Fame before Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I think also the when you look at the time gap of when Eli, let's just say, stopped playing, and then Ben's just now stopping. Of course, you got that gap too that could play into it. So yeah, I mean, I don't see where that was not far fetched that it could happen. Yeah.
Chico, would you like best last night about Dallas?
I kind of stated earlier that we were able to get, and I say we because I'm a Cowboys fan, the Cowboys were able to get some players in the game and get some reps, and I think that's huge going into the playoffs. I'm kind of harping on it a little bit, but with this COVID protocol, you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, not to totally shift away from the Cowboys, but there's a team in San Antonio, the NBA team in San Antonio, and they had to pull some people out of in 10-day contracts and because of COVID scenarios. So I think the biggest thing is, there were players that got some reps. I think that's the biggest takeaway that I had that was positive in the sense of, and with the reps they had were good reps, and they were executing. They were not just out there, playing. They were actually executing, coming off the bench and actually contributing to the forward movement and progress of the team last night.
I think they played well as a team on both sides of the ball. Agreed?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely will agree. And again, there's going to be the argument that it was Philadelphia's, a team that was from around the neighborhood or something. They picked up some, guys. It was just the guys from the local bar that wouldn't try it out that week or something. I think there was a movie about that.
Oh yeah, and we've actually had Vince Papale on the show. And
yeah,
so maybe we'll have him prior to this wild card weekend in the playoffs. But look, Philly was playing hard. They wanted to do their level best, but it was great to see folks playing well as a team with the star on the side of the helmet. I think it was reported that Micah Parsons, unfortunately, had gone to a Mavericks game, and I think in that scenario was put into the protocol. Well, I'm not going to speculate. I just, again, that's some of the reports that are out there. But again, we do have a lot of NFL. We have the college football playoff national championship, Georgia and Alabama tomorrow evening. And the youth, of course, we're going to check in at the appropriate time for that with our man, Rod Chico Tanner, as the South Texas district of the AAU is running a variety of sports for both boys and girls. And again, thank you for maintaining possession, because it's 9/10 of the law, Chico, of that Battle of the Border trophy against Arkansas. Well done. Chris and I had a great time, and it was a lot of fun broadcasting from the Star. We're going to step aside. We're going to come back with Rod Chico Tanner, Chris Fernandez, and myself on Laying Down the Law on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. San Antonio has two Hop Dottie locations. Hi, I'm Steve Foster. One at the Rim and the new location at the Vineyard, 1301 North Loop, 1604 West. And the initial San Antonio location at 17623 La Cantera Parkway, Suite 101 at the Rim. Different and delicious burgers, but fresh and all natural ingredients. Hop Dottie also has handcrafted milkshakes and hand-cut Kennebuck fries. So get to a Hop Dottie in San Antonio. When burger is life, life is awesome.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home and auto.
When you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get great savings and round-the-clock protection, which is as beautiful as looking your firstborn child in the eyes for the first time. Well, that's a bit much. Maybe it's more like looking your second-born child in the eyes for like the third or fourth time. Point being, the savings and round-the-clock protection are really, really magical.
Forced Metaphors. Presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
With the Peloton bike, there's always something new to try. We're adding new music to our artist series, new disciplines like boxing.
Fight your way through. Let's make it count.
So many new workouts to try on and off the bike.
Let's go, Peloton family.
There's always something new to keep you motivated. For a limited time, get a $550 value on the Peloton Bike Plus. $300 off plus free delivery and setup, a $250 value. All access membership separate. Limited time offer until January 9, 2022. Free delivery only available in continental U.S. Terms apply.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Small businesses are the backbone of America. Yet when it comes to workers' comp insurance, you rarely get the savings you deserve. That's because insurance companies tend to lump you in with other businesses, and you could get overcharged. At Pi Insurance, we're on a mission to change that. With Pi, you get a quote specific to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. If you like savings, take 3 minutes to see how much you could save at trypi.com. Pi makes workers' comp insurance as easy as pie, with friendly representatives just a call away. No wonder customers rate our service excellent on Trustpilot. You work hard to build your business and keep your employees safe. You deserve more from your workers' comp provider. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill serves great cooking with an innovative take on classic American comfort food. For over 10 years now, Chuck and Larry have delighted appetites and presented one of the best Sunday brunches ever at 303 Red River in Austin. Go by and enjoy some corn dog shrimp, cornflake chicken salad, broiled rainbow trout, and all my favorites and more. Moonshine classic American comfort food. And of course, when you see Chuck and Larry, tell them all said hello. Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
We're back. Laying Down the Law. It is leading up to the college football national championship. The FCS championship was played Montana State and North Dakota State, and that wasn't even close, gentlemen. North Dakota State running away with that FCS championship. They were up 38-0 at one time in that game, and they again are the FCS champions.
Yeah, I saw some stats on their number national championship in comparison to Alabama, and it's kind of interesting, even though different division, but and how many athletes they put into the NFL and just their overall stats. But North Dakota, man, what a great program.
Yeah, and you know, Trey Lance, the San Francisco quarterback, back up to Jimmy Garoppolo, one of the latest to be able to come out of there as of note. I think what's been very interesting is that the NFL is made up of not just Power 5 or even Group of 5 conference. There's so many players that come from the FCS Division 1 and some here and there, Division 2 and the historical Black colleges and universities as well. And again, as you also may have seen, Jackson State gets another blue chip recruit to go there, as opposed to those Group of 5 or Power 5, as Deion Sanders is doing things there. And I think people have an appeal to go for some of that notoriety and maybe believing that they can take a different path to professional sports.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the one that's most notable that most people know is, you know, Michael Strahan, who played at Texas Southern University, you know, right down the street from the University of Houston, right in the heart of Houston, Texas, and what a career he had. So, you know, definitely different paths to professional sports, but also different paths to professionalism of all sorts. So it's interesting that, Dion and what he's doing and getting more attention put on the HBCUs and as well as, I think, like you're saying, it opens up the conversation even more so with other universities of different divisions and levels, because talent is talent. If you got it, you got it. And sometimes it's just a matter of getting that talent out there and exposed to the next level.
Talking about next level, shifting back to the NFL, what team do you see out there that maybe people may need to consider not wanting to play coming up in this wild card weekend? We'll start in the AFC. I think the Tennessee Titans getting healthier, they may be a team that no one has really spoken their name, but could be a team that gets heavily into the mix.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on the Titans. I in the AFC, the other one that kind of be careful of, I think, are the Bengals. Be a little careful.
That's a good call. It's a good call.
Snuck in under the radar. They didn't make a lot of noise, but
exactly.
They consistently, and they consistently throughout the season, especially throughout the end of the season, their game escalated and they got where they needed to be, and they did it kind of quietly.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, even though there's been some, a few games here or there, but you can't sleep on the Chiefs, of course. They're going to give you a game. So, I mean, there's quite a few, there's several of them in there that get you kind of, just be careful. Don't go in thinking that, and again, like we said, it's playoffs. I mean, it's win or go home. I mean, heck, the Buffalo Bills may turn around and shock some people as well. So, it's an interesting situation over there in the AFC.
I think, and y'all have always heard that word as of late, parity. Well, these are all professionals. You don't play on that level if you're just really average. You don't. There's something to you that you get to make $800 or more $1,000 in 17 to 18 weeks. That you don't. A very small percentage of the population, very, very, very small percentage of the population get to do that for 3 hours on one day as well. Although the practice time and the meeting time and working out is all part of it. But these are people, because, like they could say, well, Alabama could beat, the Miami Dolphins. No, they can't. No, they can't. Those are grown men that came from Alabama. Those are grown men that came from Notre Dame and Michigan and Texas and A&M and LSU and SC. They play for real. They went through a combine, and Chico, because you've seen the combines and you've seen them for track, and people come and they weed out the national champions or the top 8, and they do all that homework at some point in time.
Well, I mean, and we've had the pleasure of talking to a lot of professional athletes who have this general conversation, and they'll tell you straight up, it's a different game. The speed of the game, the size of everybody. Yes, you'll have some college athletes that are super fast, but everybody is good in the NFL. Everybody is good.
Chico, how many Dallas Cowboys linemen took it to the house? Not only took it to the house, but tipped and intercepted the ball to themselves and took it to the house.
Yeah, so right there, you look at
multiple linemen did that.
And that's what I'm saying. Look at the speed of a 300-pound guy. I mean, that's just amazing when you think about it. Now, granted, again, there are some very large athletes in college that are very fast, but again, everybody, it's the cream of the crop. It's the top of the picks that are at that level, and you're not going to have a scenario where you would have the top college football team play the lowest level NFL team and expect an outcome any different than the NFL team winning. I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Chico, and it happens at every level of the game, right? When you start off in the Pop Warner leagues and you move up into middle school and high school, each level, excuse me, I hate to say it, but each level, the bottom drops out and the top moves forward. And it's no different when you go from the college ranks to the National Football League. The bottom falls out and the top rises to the top, and it just goes on and on and on. I agree with you. There's no way that's going to happen where a top college team goes in and beats any NFL team. It just can't happen. The athletes and the athleticism is just
across any sport, baseball,
absolutely,
basketball,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and they're 19 versus a man of 26. A person that's been playing in the NFL for 4 or 5 years, a veteran at 32. A 19-year-old is not going to be, a 20-year-old is not going to be able to recognize the difference.
And to piggyback on Chris, you're talking about like coming out of our youth sports program at AAU, and you can see when they get to high school and college, it's a maturity thing too. You know, it's your IQ, your sports IQ, along with the athleticism that changes. You can see it, and that's the thing people forget to talk about is your the IQ, the sports IQ and the maturity.
You're absolutely right, Chico. You have to be a student of the game. You have to learn. Your mind has to be trained to think faster because things happen faster at each level of the game. And if you're not there mentally, you're going to miss things and you're not going to move forward.
Yeah. Now, and Steve, you can tell me, so Steve, you played in high school, you played in college. The complexity of the game changes. That playbook is not the same playbook.
We went from getting something weekly to something that grew here to then as a grad assistant with Nebraska that grew to here. Yeah, and it's hundreds of pages. And again, those different levels are sometimes seemingly hard to achieve. I was very, very fortunate to be able to transfer the skills to another level because you have to find out what you can do. People change positions. There's a bunch of people that have played quarterback and running back that now have to play defensive back or linebacker, they or wide receiver, because now you're competing against the whole world. Who in the NFC would you may not want to run up against? That's kind of a
well, it depends on when you say you may not want to run up against them. Depends on who you're talking about. I know that we got a lot of Texas fans that listen into the show, and Cowboys definitely. I'll be honest. I don't know if I want to see the Cardinals again right now, as the Cowboys. But can they beat them? Sure, they can.
That was my thought, though, Chico.
Yeah, now. Could the scenario play out here? I think there's still a potential that the Cowboys could get the Eagles again. Maybe not so concerned about that. Of course, he's Tom Brady in the Bucks. It's kind of is what it is. Even though the Packers are playing well, the Buccaneers, man. That's another one that it'll concern you. It'll concern you. Yeah, so
you give the nod of Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers, huh? Even in Lambeau.
Well, in Lambeau, that's a different conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. And Lambeau, okay. Now now you're talking about a different conversation. It's just something about when you got to go to Lambeau, and and I think we had this discussion, about the Cowboys going to Lambeau, and I think I believe it was you. You were like, well, we want revenge. We want to get it back. I want revenge.
It was a catch, Chico. All I'm saying is it was a catch. It was a catch.
You did your best pirate for me. Arg, I want revenge. Yeah. So, but I don't know if I like going to Lambeau, and I prefer to have it at AT&T Stadium if I had to play them. But hey, guess what? The way the scenario is playing out, that's what may happen.
Well, we'll see. We'll certainly see. It will unfold rapidly in front of all of us. We're going to step aside and come back with a young lady who knows a whole heck of a lot about the Dallas Cowboys and a whole heck of a lot of about the NFL. Heck, she's actually been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, one of 3 women to do that. So stay with us. We're going to come back on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Texas Spine Care Center and Dr. Adam Brueggemann are committed to treating chronic back pain and helping patients understand and make informed decisions about orthopedic treatment. They focus on using the latest techniques, medicines, and practices to give their patients the best treatment options to manage and overcome pain. Texas Spine Care Center is committed to helping San Antonio find the best choices that will give you your life back. So call 210-941-1785 or go to TexasSpineCareCenter.com. 210-941-1785.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And Doug.
Don't you just love the smell of old books?
Shh, this is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
He really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with lots of sound effects. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here are some zany sounds. Saving on home insurance is no laughing matter. Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. The money you save could change your life. It's time for you to take your insurance choice seriously. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray.
Why let those dishes pile up? Dawn Dish Spray cleans them super fast. Just spray, wipe, and rinse. Baby's taking a nap. Clean those bottles in a snap. Just spray, wipe, and rinse.
Dawn Dish Spray, it's a spray for your dishes.
Smoothie mess in a blender. Clean it easy, can't bad. Just spray, wipe, and rinse.
Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray.
How's it work again? Just spray, wipe, and rinse.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our 11 locations and check out the new Kubota L2501 package deal, which includes a four-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. Check out our package specials at ewaldkubota.com.
According to NHTSA, in 2019, more than 5,000 people were killed in crashes involving large trucks in the U.S. Semi-trucks, which weigh 20 to 30 times as much as passenger cars, can cause severe injuries in the event of a wreck. If you were injured in an 18-wheeler accident, call Thomas J. Henry. Thomas J. Henry handles serious trucking cases and gets serious results for injured clients. To learn more or start your claim today, visit tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Cover 3 at Stone Oak in San Antonio is the place to be, whether you're looking to gather coworkers for lunch, dine with friends, or treat your sweetie to a fabulous dinner. This elegant restaurant offers ample seating with comfortable leather booths, tall cocktail tables, along with full-service dining at the bar, or you can enjoy a fun time out on the patio. So come to Cover 3 and experience dining, spirits, and sports.
Cover 3, 1806 North 1604 West, 210-479-9700.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
We are back. We're laying down the law. I'm your host, Steve Foster, alongside Rod Chico Tanner and Chris Fernandez. And we go to the phone lines and we talk to a young lady who has covered the NFL for 25 plus years and knows the Dallas Cowboys extremely well. She's a Hall of Fame voter, past president of the Pro Football Writers Association. She in Canton, in the halls of Canton, distinguished alum at her alma mater over in Bryan College Station, Texas A&M. The one and only Charean Williams. Happy New Year and welcome back.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys.
What'd you think about last night? I thought it was great. I hear people unhappy with how long the Cowboys played, but I think that continuity was necessary.
Well, they came out of it without any major injuries, so that was the key thing, and got those guys some playing time, and they probably needed it. They've kind of been up and down, and I know they lead the league in scoring. I get all that, but you look at the Cardinals game and some other games that they've had since Dak came back from that calf injury, and I just think they needed to get the offense rolling like it rolled last night. It didn't matter who was out there on defense. That didn't matter. It was just a matter of being productive and scoring in the red zone and doing all those things, and that's what they did. And that had been their problem, was scoring in the red zone, and now they've got a long streak of scoring in the red zone. So that's good. They've got that together. So that's a positive going into the postseason, and I think they really needed that.
Shireen, what about Cedric Wilson coming back? We're not sure what Michael Gallup may do, but now you have another weapon for Dak, and two playoff teams. Philadelphia will be in the mix somewhere. I loved that another target, another weapon was found prior to the playoffs.
Yeah, he'll be their third receiver. There's no question about that. They needed that after losing Michael Gallup, and I think they found it in Cedric Wilson and maybe found a little trust in him with Dak going into the postseason. So I think that was probably important too, because you do need those weapons. And, I think you see it with the Cardinals without DeAndre Hopkins, still kind of searching for who that top guy is, and they'll have to move the ball around. But, I think that's good for him. And, I think that's good probably for the future, because you don't know what the future is with Michael Gallup. He's scheduled to become a free agent. Yeah, his knee's not going to be ready for him to go at the start of the 2022 season. So it's unfortunate for him, because he's going to hit free agency and probably not going to get that big second contract that he had hoped for and expected. Unfortunately, and that's what happens when you have a major injury and you're going into free agency a lot of times. But it may be good for Dallas, because they may be able to get him back on maybe a 1-year deal and get him back for less money, because I think he was ready to hit free agency and cash in a little bit.
Talking with Shireen Williams. Go ahead, Chico.
Hey, Shireen, it's Chico. So one thing that we were talking about this in the first hour about the reps and the continuity and everybody getting in. But the one thing that we didn't talk about, and I've been wanting to get into this topic, is the kicking game for Cowboys. It definitely worries me, I'll just say. So I'd like to get your take on that.
Yeah, I think it should be a worry. I mean, Greg Zuerlein has missed a kick of some sort in almost half the games this season, and that is a concern going into the postseason. You just got to be better than that, because these games, playoff games aren't going to be like what we saw last night. You're not going to get the JV team. I mean, they're going to be close, and they're going to come down to one score. And if that one score is a field goal or an extra point, you got to be able to count on that kicker to make it. And I'm just not sure they can count on him to make that. So I think they're going to be a little bit nervous if they go to an end of a game and, last play field goal to win the game. I just think there's a little uncertainty there about whether he'll make it or not. So that is a huge concern, I think, for them going into the postseason, just because these games are going to be one-score games more than likely and come right down to the end. And so you're going to need every point you can get. So he's got to be able to make those extra points and those field goals. And it's just all too often we're seeing him miss some of those things. So their special teams overall, contributed mightily to this team's performance this year, especially with the blocked punts. But they've got to get better in that department.
Shireen, 3 of the starting secondary players out. But yet, even though it was a JV attempt by the Eagles, I think the secondary played fairly well. I think, when you go into your nickel or dime packages where you have 5 or 6 defensive backs, as y'all have mentioned, you built depth, and, that secondary could be one where, if you have to go up against a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, you want that secondary definitely prepared.
Yeah, they got them some experience last night, and I think that was pretty important. And I mean, you saw the difference between the starters and the backups, and you saw why the backups are the backups. I mean, how many interceptions did they drop? They had the one that Kellen Joseph went right through his hands and into the hands of Devontae Smith early in the game. And I do think it would have been different if Devontae Smith had stayed in the game, but obviously they got him out of there. But the Cowboys got their secondary some experience, and again, important going in the postseason. Donovan Wilson needed to play a little bit. I wouldn't call him a backup. He's been a starter and been a starter a while. He just had injuries this season and illnesses and whatever else. And, I think he'll be good going into the postseason because they will have depth at the safety position. But they should feel pretty good about their secondary with what they saw last night and with the starters coming back for next week's game. I think that's big. For them going to the postseason, because they're going to see, if you see the Cardinals again, and we just saw them last week, you know what they present, the problems they present with those receivers.
Shireen, does it matter if the Cardinals are at AT&T or if Dallas goes out to the desert in Arizona?
Well, it'll be at AT&T, but Cardinals are better on the road than they are at home. They've struggled at home for whatever reason. They're really good on the road. Kyler Murray's 9-0 at AT&T Stadium, so the Cowboys probably would rather that game be in Arizona just from that simple fact, but it's going to be at AT&T Stadium. So if that's who they'll play, they'll just have to figure out how to beat them, having not done it 2 weeks earlier. But maybe that helps. Maybe that shows you what you need to work on, because the Cardinals put everything into that game. They needed to win that game, and they won it. So maybe it's a different game this time around. It is hard to beat a same team twice in a row or twice in a season, especially 2 times in 3 weeks.
What about a slight emergence of Zeke running the ball a little bit better yesterday? That could certainly be an X factor in keeping Kyler Murray, he's the king of AT&T Stadium, off the field and making a difference against the Cardinals.
Yeah, I agree with you. It looks like he's healthier, and that was a concern against the Cardinals because they just couldn't run the ball. They didn't run the ball. And, I mean, Dak Prescott was their leading rusher. You've got to be better running the ball, especially against a team like that. And so I think they will be better doing that against the Cardinals this time around. I think they will, and I think you're just seeing him get healthier, which is why you saw the long run, which was his longest run in a long time. I think it was a Patriots game, maybe the last time he had a run over 15 yards. It's been a long time. Just that knee has prevented him from doing what he wanted to do and what the Cowboys wanted to do. And obviously you'll get Tony Pollard back in there too to help. And I think they, just like we were talking about the secondary, I think they saw how much depth they have at the running back position. I thought that was outstanding with what we saw with some of those other running backs, Corey Clement being one who's on the active roster, but the 2 guys on the Hardy and Smith on the practice squad, I thought they ran the ball pretty well. So they should be pretty encouraged by what they have at the running back position.
Yes, and I hope they do attack in that fashion. Do you know what day it seems that game may be played? Is it a Saturday or is it a Sunday, or to be determined by the NFL still?
Or a Monday.
Right.
The Cowboys indicated after last week's game they thought they were going to get a Saturday game this week and a Saturday night game next week. There's nothing set in stone. That's not it. But I would probably think they would either be the Saturday night game or the Sunday night game next week. Just you get them in prime time. You want the Cowboys in prime time. I'm going to be very surprised if they're not the Saturday night game or the Sunday night game. The only other slot you would think they would be in would be that 3:30 slot on Sunday, but I think they'll be one of the primetime games. I'm going to be very, very surprised if they're not. But their thinking was, and I don't know if they knew anything or were just thinking, that they were going to get moved this week, which they did, to Saturday night and then have next Saturday night's game, so they wouldn't have any extra time. It would be, wouldn't lose a day in their preparation. Of course, the Cardinals will, but they wouldn't lose a day in their preparation.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, Shireen. Happy New Year. It's always a pleasure. And I hope that you are working, especially with the Cowboys in mind. I know you do a lot of other NFL chores and duties respectfully. How can people find you? How can people see the comments and thoughts that you have as this NFL season goes into the playoffs?
Yeah, we're on Pro Football Talk, and it's on NBC's site. And then my Twitter handle is NFL Shireen. So that's the two places I can be found. So Pro Football Talk has a lot of good stuff up. We'll be seeing a lot of coaching changes tomorrow, so there'll be a lot going on.
Well, we appreciate that heads up, that information, and that CHAREAN for Shireen. We appreciate you very much. Look forward to seeing you soon in person and saying hello. And it's been great. Thank you so much for this preview.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We're going to step aside, and we're going to catch up with Chico, of course, and keep it moving right here on Laying Down the Law on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM.
San Antonio has two Hop Dottie locations. Hi, I'm Steve Foster. One at the Rim and the new location at the Vineyard, 1301 North Loop, 1604 West. And the initial San Antonio location at 17623 La Cantera Parkway, Suite 101 at the Rim. Different and delicious burgers with fresh and all-natural ingredients. Hop Dottie also has handcrafted milkshakes and hand-cut Kennebuck fries. So get to a Hop Dottie in San Antonio. When burger is life, life is awesome.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
You say goodbye, and I say hello.
With Mercari, your unneeded things can find a new life.
Hello, hello.
Easily list and sell,
I know why you say goodbye, and I say hello.
or discover great finds.
Hello.
Buy or sell almost anything.
You say goodbye, and I say hello.
Download Mercari on the app stores or at Mercari.com. Mercari, your marketplace.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill serves great cooking with an innovative take on classic American comfort food. For over 10 years now, Chuck and Larry have delighted appetites and presented one of the best Sunday brunches ever at 303 Red River in Austin. Go by and enjoy some corn dog shrimp, cornflake chicken salad, broiled rainbow trout, and all my favorites and more. Moonshine classic American comfort food. And of course, when you see Chuck and Larry, tell them Foss said hello. Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
We're back, and it is time now for Rod Chico Tanner, the governor of the South Texas District of the AAU. and our focus on youth sports. Chico, talk to us.
A lot going on, man. I'm actually interested that we had Shireen on, but at A&M yesterday, they had the high school indoor track meet, and a lot of our AAU clubs out there competing. I got to watch a few highlight videos and talk to some of the directors of some of the programs out of the San Antonio and Austin area that had taken some kids. I was fortunate many years, many times to get to that event. My daughter competed in it multiple times, and it's a great event. The facility at Texas A&M, the indoor track, is unbelievable. A multi-million-dollar facility. It's just state of the art, man. So I was excited to get to catch a little bit of that via video. So we're getting ready to gear up and start putting our dates and plans out for the summer track events and qualifications that'll take place in June, and the JO games, the North Carolina A&T for track and field. So it's going to be exciting to get out there. The other big thing on my docket this next weekend, I'm in Vegas for the West Coast Nationals, co-hosting that with the California AAU League. And, as soon as we get done with this segment, I got to jump to that and finalize the game schedule so we can get that out. So we've got teams from Texas making their way out, and I'm going to take on some teams from California and in the Nevada area as well.
Chico, will that be 3 days worth of games, 2 days worth of games? And then where is it going to be played? Is it going to be held in venues around the Las Vegas, greater Las Vegas area? How are you visioning that? And it's a great move, even in this situation where you have to be careful. I know y'all have done a great job in doing that as well.
So the games will take place on the 15th and 16th of January. So we'll have some preliminary pool play on the 16th and some knockout bracket play and championship on the 16th. Of course, that is MLK weekend, and there's a lot of different things going on out there. We also have a cheer championship. So the cheer championship will take place at the Rio Hotel, and the football games will take place at Clark High School and Bonanza High School. So we'll be using the fields at those locations. Multiple fields at each location. So, and we'll do check-in that Friday, the 14th. We'll check in teams, do our certification, and then we'll kick off Saturday morning, the 15th, bright and early, and we'll go all day, and then we'll go all day Sunday and knock it out. So the tournaments like this usually run a couple of days, depending on the numbers, and our numbers put us into a scenario where we're going to do it in a couple of days.
That sounds exciting. Again, the collaboration that you've built and are building throughout using the AAU Foundation, again, an organization that goes back to the late 1880s and then was really the catalyst for our Olympic Games in our country.
Yes, the AAU was the Olympic committee and body that managed all of that for the U.S. And then when the U.S. Olympic Committee was formed, then that migrated over. But definitely some of the greatest athletes that have stepped on a court or stepped in a ring or on a track or on a pitch or you name it, a lot of them have come through some form of the grassroots AAU programs in communities all over the place. So, you look at people like Shaquille O'Neal. I watched him play in AAU basketball tournaments in San Antonio. So, saw a lot of great athletes come through just this local area.
And now commentating for the NFL, RG3 or Robert Griffin III participated as well in the northern region of the district and
he was up in
himself.
Copperas Cove, Texas, and still correspond with his father quite often. And he still, I believe, holds maybe one AAU record in the 400-meter hurdles. Phenomenal, man, to the speed he had coming out of his senior year. And a lot of people don't know he was destined really to go to the Olympics in the 400-meter hurdles. But he ended up playing football and got that little trophy on the shelf, a little Heisman. So, hey, he didn't do too bad for himself. And congratulations to him on his transition into the broadcasting booth. A great guy. I've had a couple of opportunities to talk with him, and just a really nice guy.
Well, I tell you, since 2010 when he started it, and then to have him, Kyler Murray, and Baker Mayfield, all Texas high school quarterbacks, have that little trophy on the shelf. It's just showing, I think, listen, you got to be a student athlete. So you got to commit to having a GPA worthy of stepping on to these fields of play. That's important because, as you so correctly point out, Chico, not a lot are going to play professionally for a time. And even those that do, it could be a very short window. And what do you do after you play professionally? It's another tool in the toolbox. It is some notoriety, but then you do have to go into some type of working environment that will call on your intellect and some of your scholastic skills.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Chris and I have talked quite a bit about different things in that aspect. And you know, Chris, you talked a little bit about just the whole dynamic of it all.
You know, you're absolutely right, Chico. You know, after the game is done, you've got to be able to do something, and being able to go from the field to the broadcasting booth or to be an analyst, it takes knowledge. You've got to understand the game. You've got to know how to articulate the game even more so. So those tools in your toolbox will help you as you move forward. And if you don't have them, you kind of get pushed to the wayside. It's one of those things where the cream rises again to another level in a different aspect of the game, but nevertheless, it rises to the top. So if you don't have those tools in your toolbox, you'll get left behind, or you'll be doing something else other than following the game like you've done throughout your life.
Yeah.
Well, Chico, does the AAU have an educational requirement, or is it just based on age and some things like that?
It's based on, just age, but, a lot of programs implement their own criteria in regards to that. But it is definitely something that most every program pushes the academic awards and their scholarship opportunities from the national level and down to the local level. So, get those scholarships, you got to meet the criteria. So it's not just about the sport.
Well, Chico, go ahead and get with that West Coast National scenario. I may be able to get out there with you as well. Stay tuned. But our number one
Texas
in the
Spine
book.
Care Center and Dr. Adam Brueggemann are committed to treating chronic back pain and helping patients understand and make informed decisions about orthopedic treatment. They focus on using the latest techniques, medicines, and practices to give their patients the best treatment options to manage and overcome pain. Texas Spine Care Center is committed to helping San Antonio find the best choices that will give you your life back. So call 210-941-1785 or go to texasspinecarecenter.com. 210-941-1785.
How do I know this check's gonna clear? Is your money any good? I heard about you guys like that. Yeah, well, let me tell you something. We've already bought $1 billion worth of your used cars in 2021. $1 billion with a B. That means we do what we say we're gonna do when we say we're gonna do it. And our money's good. And our transaction's good. We've got our stuff together. 1,000 to 100 grand, we're all over it. Where? Only at GiveMeTheVin.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with the Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Cover 3 at Stone Oak in San Antonio is the place to be, whether you're looking to gather coworkers for lunch, dine with friends, or treat your sweetie to a fabulous dinner. This elegant restaurant offers ample seating with comfortable leather booths, tall cocktail tables, along with full-service dining at the bar, or you can enjoy a fun time out on the patio. So come to Cover 3 and experience dining, spirits, and sports.
Cover 3, 1806 North 1604 West, 210-479-9700.
According to NHTSA, one person is injured in a car accident every 2 minutes in Texas, and a new crash is reported every 56 seconds. If you were injured in a car crash, call Thomas J. Henry. Thomas J. Henry handles serious auto accident cases and gets serious results for injured clients. To learn more or start your claim today, visit tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Laying down the law. With Steve Foster, Rod Chico Tanner, and Ryan Willett.
Hour number 2 here on a national championship weekend for college, setting the stage for the NFL and Super Wildcard weekend as everyone is marching on to a February Super Bowl. And very happy to have this gentleman join us on the show, former alum at the University of Nebraska, team captain, one of the captains, understands national championships, also understands playoffs as he was one of the St. Louis Rams, now the Los Angeles Rams. My good friend and Texan, Jay Reese. John, good morning and welcome back and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Steve. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm moving and grooving. Glad that I can have the opportunity to share the airways with somebody that is experienced in the world of sport and in football like yourself, and has had the opportunity to be on the grand stage, both in college and in the NFL. So we want to chat it up with you. First and foremost, you know, on that NFL level, you're now Los Angeles Rams playing against the San Francisco 49ers as teams looking to get into the playoff scenario. Your thoughts about your former team?
They look great. I mean, they look great. They obviously made a huge improvement at the QB position with Matthew Stafford. I've always been a fan of his and was hoping his career didn't end up like Barry Sanders, where he walked away from the game without at least an opportunity for a ring.
Right.
I think they've improved over the last couple of weeks. There's a big loss losing Robert Woods, the wide receiver, but Odell Beckham, as he gets more in tune with the offense, seems like he's becoming more productive. I think a little bit of that was shown last week. And then the addition of Von Miller, you know, on the line with Big Aaron, man, they're going to wreak havoc as soon as those guys get familiar and comfortable working together.
Well, John, you mentioned it right off the bat. You know, Highland Park, Georgia Bulldog, Matthew Stafford. What a difference it makes to be on a team that's competitive, and then to surround him with Cooper Kupp. And as you mentioned, you know, Odell Beckham doesn't seem to have any kind of issue with this Rams team. And then, you know, you throw Van Jefferson in the mix and some running backs. And like you mentioned, the Super Bowl 50 MVP and another Texan. You've done Von Miller. You've done a heck of an upgrade for a really good coach in Sean McVay.
And again, as these guys get more comfortable, I mean, you know how it is, Steve. You leave one team, go to another. It's two different schemes that you're used to running. You know, OBJ's or Beckham's case, you know, coming from Cleveland, where he was pretty much, you know, the star. You know, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods was demanding 50-60% of those calls on offense. And so, you know, to make that adjustment to come in and understand that Sean McVay's offense is really complex. So I knew it would take him a couple of weeks, but I think last week kind of showed that, hey, you know what, they've got some stuff in plans for him. Von Miller the same way on defense, getting used to not only being a rush guy, but, filling in on the run and covering and coverage and zones and things of that nature. Maybe a little bit different package than he's run in the past, but it seems like, these guys are consummate professionals. They'll get it done. Just give them a little time.
Are the Rams a team kind of one of those sleeper? You're not hearing much about the Rams, and I know you got Tom Brady and you got Aaron Rodgers, and then of course, people like to see Dallas doing well, America's team per se, and so Matthew Stafford, because he has made the team switch, maybe flying under the radar.
Yeah, I think they are. Obviously, Aaron's playing at a very high level.
and Kyler Murray. Let's not take
right.
Kyler out of the mix.
I'm still not sold on my Cardinals, man. Just still not sold on them yet. They've got to show up a little more often. I think some of the easier games, they have blowouts, but if you look at over the history of them the last few years, they fizzle out a little bit toward the playoffs. So we'll see. It looks like they've gotten a little bit better. Buda Baker's playing really well on defense.
Right.
I think they still need a standout corner out there after losing Peterson and some of those guys. So, but no, I think my Rams, man, are flying right under the radar. There's a lot of hype on them coming into the season, and they kind of fizzled a little bit mid-season. But I think timing-wise, again, adding those two players and getting some of the younger guys more involved in offense and defense, they're peaking at the right time.
Talking with John Reese, my man from Nebraska, and also the LA Rams and the NFL playing defensive back. That's what we wanted to focus on. Such a parity in the NFL now, John, that like we mentioned, there's 4 or 5 teams that really have a good shot in the NFC to show up in LA or whatever alternative site they may have the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's been really competitive on both sides of the league, right? AFC and NFC, and it's great. You got 5 or 6 teams in each conference that are vying for that number 1 seed or vying for playoff spots. I think the last game tonight is going to be the most interesting between the Chargers and the Raiders. Win and get in kind of thing. That's what we want to see as a public, man. At least a former player, love to see that. That last game come down to who wants it more. And so I think it's going to be an exciting playoff season. I'm really looking forward to it. Typically, doesn't get good for me until AFC and NFC championships and the Super Bowl. But I think going into this next weekend, man, even this weekend, it's going to be really exciting.
So, John, if you're looking across the landscape and you're saying, okay, road's got to go through Lambeau. Road's got to go through Kansas City, possibly. Is basically Tom Brady really the only true X factor that could topple the kingdom? Dak maybe another X factor, and then in the AFC, if it's not, Justin Herbert, if the Chargers can get hot, you may not want to play them. If you're Kansas City.
No, I agree. I do think it's going to come down to Tampa Bay and NFC and probably Green Bay. I mean, I think the Rams have a sleeper chance, depending on where they're playing. And if everybody stays healthy, that as well. But Tampa Bay having pretty much their whole team from last year coming back this year, man. Even losing some receivers, it really doesn't matter. I mean, Tom is savvy enough and seen enough of these defenses and packages. He knows how to beat them if the offensive line gives him time. So I'm a little bit worried about Kansas City. I don't know that they're 100% healthy. Tyreek Hill was a little banged up last night. Didn't look like his old self. They did have some younger players step up at receivers. But I'm just not sold on their defense, man. I'm just not. It just seems like every game that they got to win, it's a shootout. And it comes down to Mahomes having to have the ball the last 3 minutes of the game to pull it out. So I would question that. I think the AFC is probably a little more open than the NFC. I honestly think the NFC is going to come down to Tampa Bay and Green Bay. And again, nobody wants playing Green Bay in December or January. So Aaron Rodgers obviously has the edge there.
So all good Cowboys fans, just pack it in, huh?
I love my boys, man. That's the last team I played for. I mean, they beautiful, beautiful organization. But I honestly, Steve, I don't think Dak is 100% healthy. I really don't. I don't know that come out. I've had knee injuries and back injuries and things like that, and had surgeries, and it normally takes well over a year. He had a total reconstruction on his ankle, and I don't see that. Every once in a while you see those passes just kind of float up, and that's a direct result of not being able to drive and use that lower half. And so I'm curious if that will ever come out. I think they do give up. I think defense playing pretty well, but if Dak's not on, Pollard's out, so it's put a lot of pressure on Zeke. There's just a lot of loopholes. Now I will say, if they get an opportunity to play somebody at home, they're going to be a lot more dangerous than on the road.
Well, Cardinals though play better on the road than they do at home, per Shireen Williams in our first hour on the show. And Kyler Murray is the king of AT&T. That guy is unbelievable in that stadium. I mean, he's worth the price of admission, Right. And a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, and again, a New Braunfels unicorn, Texas Tech Red Raider. A lot of Texas guys on this big stage now. As we come down to it, he was middle of the road at Texas Tech, but dang near, at the top of the charts in the NFL with a guy like Kyler Murray. It's incredible what one person as your quarterback can make a world of change and difference. I mean, it happened overnight in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, and Kyler's a special kid, right? I mean, one thing all my defense coordinators I played under said, we hate, a quarterback that can throw and run. You really can't account for him. You don't want to take, a linebacker in particular, have to spy him depending on the weapons they have on the outside. My concern with the Cardinals is just their running game. I mean, it's still a run league. You're averaging over 100 yards a game running. Typically those are the other winning teams, winning formulas. I still don't think Kyler is in a position, he's got to throw through lanes, which makes it tough. And so having to rely on his arm, especially without Hopkins back there, is pretty tough for him. And I think as these defense coordinators get more film, particularly all these younger quarterbacks, they're starting to kind of figure them out and figure out ways to contain them. Not 100% successfully, of course, but for the most part, he's got to have an exceptional game to beat some of these better defenses, which puts a lot of pressure on that team.
Well, I'm taking your Rams today against the Niners. I think.
You better.
I know where you live.
And this is hard for me because, man, we used to get our butt kicked by San Francisco all the time, man. I remember when I left and I think I retired by the time they had finally beat them, but I went up to visit Toby Wright and Isaac Bruce and some of the guys up there, and was at that game, first game they beat him at, and Isaac was crying on the sideline. He's like, man, we finally beat the SOB after all these years. It was a good 10-year run, but I don't think we ever beat them.
Wow.
No, I was going to say, John, I'm like you. I am so happy for the change with Stafford at quarterback with your Rams. And I think that today they do get it done against the San Francisco 49ers. Looking forward to that game. Looking forward to see a win for your Rams.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, man, thanks so much. We know that you also understand national championship when it comes to college. Is there any way that Georgia beats Alabama on Monday?
Man, I'm so tired of Alabama. And I say that with appreciation, right? I mean, I love watching perfection, and Nick Saban's obviously got the keys to everybody's castle, and very, very knowledgeable, and has an awesome system down there. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to really stop the run on Alabama. I mean, I think, Georgia got exposed a little bit a couple games ago when they gave up a ton of rushing yards. And I think, them being the number one rush defense for 10 weeks was great, but they really hadn't. And everybody talks about the SEC being so great. I'm not a proponent of that, but there are some great teams there. But I think they got exposed a little bit. The only way they're going to beat Alabama if they shut down the run and contain that quarterback. And I don't know that they can do it, man. Alabama's just got so many weapons. It reminds us, I mean, like when we were at Nebraska, man, our team running back could come in and run for 150 yards. You know what I mean? So they're stacked and loaded, and going to be really tough to beat.
Well, John, we appreciate the time, my man. It is fun hearing from the folks that have been in these situations and on these teams. That's one thing that we look forward to having with the relationships of the show. Our former NFL players and giving us their perspective and all the other different sports. We're also going to jump in here in the next couple of weeks into that Winter Olympics because that'll be a stage going on with the Super Bowl. But look forward to catching up with you in 2022, man. And there's a new page turned and a new attitude for the Big Red Machine, baby. We're going to get back on track too up in Lincoln. So look forward to talking to you about that as well, and always enjoyed our time. Thanks for all the fun during the haircuts and stuff like that. I know there's a lot of people going, what? Yeah, there's a lot of backstories with a lot of folks that have played in the NFL that I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to coach and share time with. So best to you and your family in the new year, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
Absolutely, Steve. Thanks for having me, and give your son a hug and kiss for me. We'll see you guys soon.
Absolutely. Take care. All right. We're going to be back. Stay with us. More to come right here on Laying Down the Law.
Find your next amazing getaway at the South Texas RV Super Sale. Hundreds of RVs, every shape and size. Small pop-up campers to spacious motorhomes, toy haulers, travel trailers, fifth wheels, and more from South Texas' best dealers. RVing will change your life. Fall in love with the unexpected joy of the No Limits RV lifestyle. Check out a free seminar. Never stop looking for your next big adventure. Discover RVing at the South Texas RV Super Sale, Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. Today is the final day. Doors open at 10 a.m.
San Antonio has 2 Hop Dottie locations. Hi, I'm Steve Foster. One at the Rim and the new location at the Vineyard, 1301 North Loop, 1604 West. And the initial San Antonio location at 17623 La Cantera Parkway, Suite 101 at the Rim. Different and delicious burgers, but fresh and all-natural ingredients. Hop Dottie also has handcrafted milkshakes and hand-cut Kennebuck fries. So get to a Hop Dottie in San Antonio. When burger is life, life is awesome.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Get Upside Gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code RACE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your first fill up. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code RACE for up to 50 cents a gallon cash back on your first tank. That's code RACE.
Kathy Ireland for the Will Rogers Institute.
Are you worried that your kids aren't spending enough time being physically active? The best fitness is family activity. Ride bikes, play soccer, or just take a walk through the neighborhood. The important thing is to get your children moving with you. For more information on family activities and fitness, call the Will Rogers Institute.
Call toll-free 877-957-7575 or visit wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, I'm Gerald McRaney. Is there anything you wouldn't do to live longer or feel better? Would you make a few simple changes in your lifestyle if you knew it could save your life? Take cholesterol. A high blood cholesterol level can cause strokes and serious heart disease, but exercise and simple changes in your diet can reduce cholesterol and make you feel better.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. The Will Rogers Institute, since 1936.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
We're back. We're laying down the law.
That takes you back a little bit.
A lot of it.
Well, don't age us.
Hey, it is what it is, but good music. Dire Straits.
From back in the day.
Play the guitar on the MTV. Nobody even knows what MTV is anymore.
Oh, I know. There's like you look at some of the shows, they start off with that MTV symbol, but yeah, for the most part, I don't think anybody knows what MTV started like and what it is.
The original.
Right.
Do you know? It's a regular trivia question. The first video played on MTV. Why I have useless knowledge in my mind.
I'm about to wonder, but no, I don't. What was it?
The video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles.
And that that bothers it worries me, Steve Foster. It worries me a little bit.
It's like, when did dude do his homework?
Yeah, exactly.
I know every lyric of Rapper's Delight.
I think back in the day when that song came out back in the late 70s, I believe I knew, if not all, most of it.
Okay, you too. Okay, so I don't feel
that was the song, and if that was the first big rap song that came out. So if you knew it, you were in the know.
Yes.
What the interesting thing I found out yesterday, that this is kind of useless trivia too, but did you know that Madonna attended Michigan?
Yes,
I did not know that. Yeah, and that Gerald Ford, our president, played center for Michigan.
Yeah, he played on the football team.
Yeah, I did not know that. Along with being an Eagle Scout.
Okay, that I did not know.
Yeah,
but I knew he did play football at Michigan, and I did know that Madonna went to Michigan.
Yes, I found that
out. Lucky Star and Borderline were my two jams. That's what I was listening to on the Walkman before we played y'all.
The Walkman. With a little padded ear set. Yeah.
And if you were real bougie, you had the yellow sports one. See, they don't. Hopefully, the Smithsonian has some of this somewhere. In their electronics corner of the world. But nobody understands how difficult it was growing up with big, monstrosities that you clip to your waistband, trying to get things right. Now. And we'll see it today, and we'll see it in the national championship games. You got your headsets, and everything is very compact, wireless. We didn't know it wireless. Everything, our phones were attached to our kitchen wall.
Yeah, I was watching a video of Eddie Murphy. It was actually his Eddie Murphy Raw on TV the other day, and he actually had a microphone that had a cord to it, and he's walking around the stage having to tote that thing around, and that was back in the 80s.
You got to commit to this. I believe he said he's going to do a stand-up comedy tour. If it's somewhere close, we gotta.
Yes, he would be one that I would go see along with Martin Lawrence. I love Martin Lawrence. I would love to go see either one of those guys.
I watched Def Jam Comedy. Now we're switching from 80s to 90s, but Def Jam Comedy on Fridays was it.
And I don't think I ever watched that. I'm probably like one of the only human beings that didn't. But that
was Martin Lawrence was the host.
Yeah, and Saturday Night Live was also another one that I didn't watch much of.
So you miss Eddie on Saturday Night Live?
I did. I did all the
skits.
I have no idea, but it was not one of my things that I watched. Maybe I wasn't home Saturday nights. I don't know.
Okay, let me think, because I know we did a lot, and we met at a lot of the same places. But I'm shocked that you at least didn't see Saturday Night Live, or we didn't. No, you missed all those skits with the Coneheads and Eddie Murphy.
I do remember seeing, I don't know, they were probably reruns where I watched some of the Conehead things and Eddie Murphy and his Gumby, but I never watched it on the original airing.
So you miss Buckwheat,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. An unfortunate part of my youth that I missed. because I have.
Well,
a
you
lot of
weren't in
people-
trouble, so we know
No.
that part, but we don't. I'm shocked.
Yeah, and a lot of people when we talk about it, they say, well, "What were you doing?" And I don't remember, but I was not one to watch Saturday Night Live or Def Jam. I didn't watch any of them.
Okay.
Just an interesting,
You still turned out
useless
well.
piece of trivia.
you still turned out well.
Well, I appreciate that, Steve Foster.
I probably turned out worser.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Maybe I should have missed some of those Eddie Murphy skits and Dan Aykroyd and all those, and goodness gracious, Steve Martin and Chevy Chase, and wow, you just John Candy, and
I lost it all. Yeah, and
the
never
heck were you
to get back.
doing?
I don't know.
Gilda Radner, Garrett Morris.
Now
Dude.
I've since seen reruns and absolutely think they're hilarious, but I was not one. Like I said, I was just not one to watch it during.
What about your favorite MTV VJ?
Again,
Downtown Julie Brown.
Yeah, I guess. No. Jenny McCarthy. Was that her name?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think she was probably one that I recognized the most out of MTV back in the day. But not just.
Where
not
were
my
you
jam.
getting your music videos then, or you weren't watching them?
I really wasn't watching them.
So you didn't see.
I was
the
more radio
premiere
guy.
Thriller. You didn't see the premiere of Thriller.
The premiere of Thriller, yes, I can remember times. Remember back in the day when you would know what time it was going to be on, and everybody would gather and watch it.
Right.
So I did watch that.
Okay.
With and I can remember who I watched it with.
Okay.
It was a family thing, just about for them.
Okay.
And I was
Okay.
invited to watch it. So yeah, I
Okay.
do remember seeing stuff like that. But the major things I did see. But the thing I remember the most about MTV is that rocket that took off when it started. That's what I remember about MTV.
All right. So who's going to take off today in the NFL for you? We've got the Rams. What about the Raiders and the Chargers?
I would like to see the Chargers win, but the Raiders are playing good football.
I pray my Raiders get there.
I know you're going to pull for your Raiders, but just because you're going to pull for your Raiders, I'm going to pull for the Chargers, and we'll
Okay.
see how that turns out.
I think I turned out pretty well last week against you. I didn't want to review that, but I looked pretty good.
No, you
last
did.
week.
However, if you recall, I did call the Dallas Cowboy Cardinal game. I called it to the T. I said it would be a field goal.
Yeah.
In
You
favor of the Cardinals. So that you acknowledged that earlier on made me feel okay. I did all right.
When people get it right, you have to don't hate, appreciate.
Absolutely.
If you've done it, hey, hats off. That a true competitor may not like losing on occasion, but you have to.
You're going to lose occasionally.
Occasionally.
So the Colts going into the Jags to play the Jags. That's one.
Is that a trap game? Do you think the Jags could? No, the Jags can't. Come on. Yeah.
When I was told this week that the Colts have a hard time winning when they go play, in their
in Jacksonville. Yeah.
In Jacksonville. So I'm hoping that stands true, because if the Jags lose and the Steelers win today against the Ravens, which is going to be a bang-up game, it usually is, the Steelers have a shot to get into the playoffs. So I'm hoping that scenario plays out for us, or for the Steelers.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, we gotta continue along. I think we'll give the college football playoff national championship one more look for tomorrow, and then we'll finish the show with some NFL. How about that?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. We're going to be back. Stay with us. More to come on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Gear
thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our 11 locations and check out the new Kubota L2501 package deal, which includes a 4-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. Check out our package specials at ewaldkubota.com.
With the Peloton Bike, there's always something new to try. We're adding new music to our artist series, new disciplines like boxing.
Fight your way through. Let's make it count.
So many new workouts to try on and off the bike.
Let's go, Peloton family.
There's always something new to keep you motivated. For a limited time, get a $550 value on the Peloton Bike Plus, $300 off plus free delivery and setup, a $250 value. All access membership separate. Limited time offer until January 9, 2022. Free delivery only available in continental U.S. Terms apply. Deep breath.
Mai's virtual meditation studio has never been busier.
Imagine not working.
They need a remote assistant to realign their scheduling.
Blank calendar. Sorry, back to your breath.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Make calls, schedule virtual interviews, and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, Bobby.
Hey, Sarah. The usual.
This is the last time I'm coming here for coffee.
I'm on a budget now. 1 sec. Cold brew for Blake.
It's Jake from State Farm. Sarah, don't give up what you love. State Farm has policy options to get you a surprisingly great rate.
Good. I need my iced oat milk latte with caramel and cinnamon on top.
Girl, me too. For surprisingly great rates, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
I love my hardwood floors, but I wasn't sure how to take care of them. Carrying around a bucket was such a hassle. And even worse, my string mop left streaks and haze behind. Then I found Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, the all-in-one tool made specially for wood floors. Its microfiber-like pad is soft, and it sprays a light mist solution that dries fast. With Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, it's easy to keep up with the mess on my wood floors. Even that mess.
Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, proud member of the National Wood Floor Association.
Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill serves great cooking with an innovative take on classic American comfort food. For over 10 years now, Chuck and Larry have delighted appetites and presented one of the best Sunday brunches ever at 303 Red River in Austin. Go by and enjoy some corn dog shrimp, cornflake chicken salad, broiled rainbow trout, and all my favorites and more. Moonshine classic American comfort food. And of course, when you see Chuck and Larry, tell them Fawcett hello. Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
Back. And we're laying down the law. Steve Foster, Chris Fernandez. And as mentioned, there is this big game going on in Indianapolis. And dadgum, COVID kind of messing up plans for the whole world. But nonetheless, we want to take a live look in, and very appreciative of a gentleman who I've had the opportunity to establish a relationship over a handful of years plus. Ivan Solarski, who has been part of the sports landscape through a variety of means, the big four letters of ESPN. He's produced. He has been a major contributor when it comes to interviews. It just has been a very kind soul to the show and to our co-host. Ivan, good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thanks for taking time out. As I know, you are the scheduler, production, set it up so everything goes right extraordinaire. And I know you're a little out 24 hours between the national championship game with Alabama and Georgia. So thanks for taking a moment to stop by. How are things? What's the atmosphere like? And what are you seeing?
Well, I can tell you it's cold here in Indianapolis. And so it's a bit of a shock for the Alabama and Georgia fans because temperature's been in the teens, even single digits at night. It's been raining, freezing rain, but despite that, it has not dampened the spirits. Great attendance at Playoff Fan Central, where I'm talking to you from now. The first night of Playoff Playlist Live, which is the live free concert series down in Monument Circle, was attended really well. Reggie Wayne from the Colts legend, University of Miami legend,
yes,
introduced the talent last night, whipped the crowd into a frenzy. So it's fun. Look, you guys have been to this event before. Last saw you in New Orleans. You know when this thing gets going, how excited the fan bases get. It's the nature of college football in general. It's what we love about it. And so while the weather could be a little more cooperative, it really hasn't dampened the spirits, and everybody's having a good time, and it's only going to build till tomorrow.
Well, I tell you, you had her, you had Nas. It was an unbelievable lineup in New Orleans, and the weather was very cooperative. We were outside down by one of the piers and just having, Bourbon Street and a lot of activities. I know this gets done right and it gets done well. Of course, unfortunately, COVID has reared its ugly head and it made things be very much so different than then. However, what were some of the acts that Reggie got a chance? I loved Reggie Wayne. I had him on my fantasy team. Good wide receiver, great wide receiver, I should say, for the Colts.
Doja Cat was the headliner last night. I didn't see who else was on.
Gotcha.
Because as you know, I get preoccupied doing other things, so I didn't actually get to make it to the show. But huge turnout. Yeah. And again, it's always new and trending, and that the hot acts are here. And so to your listeners out there, if you get a chance to come out to an event like this, do it.
Yes.
Not to bash the NFL or the Super Bowl, but those events are exclusive and they're expensive. Everything's free here with the college football playoff. They come in, they take over the city embraces it, and it's great. And just a heads up, because I know you guys are in Texas, 2 years, 2024, it's going to be in Houston. How great is that going to be?
Oh, yeah, Bubba. I'll have to show you around a little bit when you do catch one break or so throughout the deal. But you can certainly pen us in for that. And we certainly will look to collaborate and have some fun. Ivan, well, now I'm curious, where's next year?
Next year's in LA.
Oh,
so the Super Bowl's in LA in a couple of weeks. And then next year, the CFP National Championship's headed to SoFi.
Gotcha. Do you know why they were looking at other venues for the Super Bowl? I know it's detracting away from the CFP, but
no, it's the same reason everything's had to be, had to have contingency plans. It's COVID policy. The state of California has, and LA County has certain COVID policies regarding indoor events and mask wearing and vaccinations. I'm not privy to a lot of those details. I was in LA for a Lakers game on Christmas Day, and, you had to have a mask on everywhere. And a lot of places you had to show a vaccination card to walk into a restaurant. And if that is potentially going to impact the Super Bowl or the ability for the NFL to hold an event, they need to have a backup plan. I mean, just guys, look at what happened with Novak Djokovic in Australia.
Right.
He thought he had an exemption, and then the government said, wait a minute. Just because the Tennis Association gave you an exemption doesn't mean you get to violate the rules we have as a country for those who are entering our borders.
Right.
And so there is always a backup plan. There's always something going on. And just with the nature of COVID being what it is and the nature of news coverage being what it is, some of those plans and discussions became public. I don't think there's a lot to to be read into it at this point. I think this is a pretty standard, but like any good business, you have to have a backup plan. You guys are on the air. You guys are broadcasting. Your studio's got a backup generator. When you guys are on site with me, we have backup internet. We have backup broadcast facilities if something goes down. You borrow equipment from other engineers. This is what you do as a business. You have to, cover your backside. And that's just what the NFL's doing in LA.
Yes, absolutely. And you never know, on site or just new technology. Sometimes
Look,
when
stuff goes wrong.
Right.
Steve, you played football, all right? And, and you had a game plan, right?
Right.
And then something happened and you change your game plan because
Correct.
something's not working, or it just, stuff happens. Mike
Right.
Tyson famously, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
That's life, my friend.
You know it. Absolutely. So what's the backup plan for Georgia when they see Alabama on the field at Lucas?
Well, all right. So I want to talk about this. I got a couple of analogies for you because, I'm not an X's and O's guy. You know this. Those of you who listen as I've been guests on the show know this. I'm not diving into like what the defensive schemes are going to be. I don't care. I think this has the potential to look a lot like Rocky III. All right.
Oh,
If you
Clubber
remember,
Lang.
Rocky
Clubber
III,
Lang.
Right. That's the one. Rocky III. Rocky goes on and he's got like a bunch of early wins as the champ, right? Against inferior competition. All right. And thinks he's all good. And then comes out hot against Clubber Lang.
Right.
All right, which is what Georgia did. They played a weak schedule. Then they came out and punched Alabama in the mouth, right, early in the first round, right? You follow me on this? And then what happened? Then Clubber Lang said, watch this. All right, now, all right, he then rallies. 5-6 weeks later, he comes back and wins. I think that might be the kind of rebound we see from Georgia. This is a really good football team. They play really good defense.
Okay.
They score well. They beat up on a good Michigan team in the Orange Bowl. I mean, they just were better in every way. They were better play calling. They were better. They just executed better. And so I think ultimately, Alabama won the first one. If I were a betting man, and I am not, but I would think I would go with Georgia in this one. With the Rocky III rebound factor.
I love it, man. Remember Clubber Lang? Come on, why don't you come over here for the lady? Get with a real man.
That you would remember that part of the movie, Steve, just astounds me.
You know what the one that I did.
Wait a minute, hang on a second. Wait, the fact that you don't remember that part of the movie astounds me. It's on top of the steps when they unveiled the statue. Come on.
Yeah, but you know what? The one actually, the part of the movie that I'll never forget, and I take it with me. Remember when Mr. T. Clubber Lang was doing those pull-ups in the basement, and he was serious about his workout, about how he was going to prepare himself for the fight. When I work out, that still flashes back in my mind when I got to get through a workout set or something, because he was just unbearingly tired and pulling through those pull-ups, and they showed his back and about him pulling himself up, and that was inspiration. I know Rocky IV when Rock was running in the snow over in Russia, but Clubber Lang doing those pull-ups, man, I remember all of that, Ivan. Absolutely, brother. That's been inspirational for decades.
That's my analogy for the Georgia season.
All right.
Early wins against inferior competition, come out strong against Alabama before getting beaten down, and then coming back and rallying in the rematch. That's what I got. We've seen this movie before, literally.
Well, hopefully we may see some of that at least tomorrow night in Indianapolis. Thank you for taking time out for us, Ivan. I do want to talk to you offline. I've got a question for you, so I will follow up soon. But thanks. Happy New Year. And I look forward to seeing you hopefully in LA. I have, I think, everything, the requisite booster shots and everything in my card ready to go. And just praying that even though people go into protocol, they're not getting very sick and that we can move through this virus.
I look forward to getting together in person soon, guys.
Thanks again, brother. Appreciate your time. All right, we're going to step aside and come back, finish up strong. This is Laying Down the Law on San Antonio Sports Start, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hello, this is Discover, and we take customer service very seriously. We know that if you have a question or concern about your credit card, that's a serious matter, and you need to talk to a real person about it. So we offer around-the-clock access to seriously talented representatives in the USA. Again, it's a serious endeavor. The only funny thing about it is Bob. If you call us and Bob answers, you're in for a treat. Get 100% US-based customer service and talk to a real person day or night. Discover exceptionally common sense.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can really control your savings. Because when you drive less, you save more with pay per mile. So you're really in control of your savings, only paying for the miles you drive. Yeah, life is good when you're in the driver's seat. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois.
Obtained a $27 million recovery for a trucking accident victim. If you or someone you love has been hurt in an accident, visit tjhlaw.com/radio to get help now. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Cover 3 at Stone Oak in San Antonio is the place to be, whether you're looking to gather coworkers for lunch, dine with friends, or treat your sweetie to a fabulous dinner. This elegant restaurant offers ample seating with comfortable leather booths, tall cocktail tables, along with full-service dining at the bar, or you can enjoy a fun time out on the patio. So come to Cover 3 and experience dining, spirits, and sports.
Cover 3, 1806 North 1604 West, 210-479-9700.
This is Diane Lane. If you're thinking of exercising to keep more fit, that's great, but be sure to do it right. Give your body a chance to warm up before exercising and to cool down afterwards. Learn the correct way to run, lift, or to do any of the movements in your program. Don't push yourself harder or faster than your body is ready for. Exercising properly can make you more fit, more relaxed, and generally healthier. Carelessness or abuse can do just the opposite. So be careful.
A message from the Will Rogers Institute, wrinstitute.org.
Take a moment and see if you can guess what I'm doing. I'm getting healthy by walking. Walking daily has tons of health benefits, managing weight, lowering cholesterol and blood pressure, and improving your overall mood. So, whether it's around your neighborhood or over your lunch break, just take a walk. For your free booklet, visit wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. The Will Rogers Institute, since 1936.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
We're back. Laying Down the Law. And this is what you call the beat 'em up Steve-O section. As I recall, I owe Chris a big gulp. I lost a bet there. And now we go to the phone lines. Not only is he part of the all-time Texas Tech football team, 10, 11-year NFL veteran, he is now the champion of the Laying Down the Law Fantasy Football League. He wrecked him. Faux show. Marcus Coleman. Marcus, happy New Year, champ.
Man, happy New Year, man. How you doing?
Well, I'm in third place. I'm okay.
Hey, at least you made it to the dance.
I did. But you seemed to steal the Soul Train line, and I was one of the side guys clapping.
Hey man, somebody's got to be the main attraction. You know how that is.
I do. I was last year's main attraction, and I feel good that I won in 2020 since that was my jersey number. That's something that God could do for me. But you were the man in fantasy. But let's talk the NFL. A lot of parity in both the AFC and NFC. I think this is great. I love that Dallas is back, but Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray, and Tom Brady are going to have something to say about that. I love that, Kansas City is looking like they can fight off some folks, but Josh Allen's got a little bit to say up in Buffalo about that. Justin Herbert could get hot with the Chargers. Man, my second team, the Raiders, they could, potentially be in the dance too. Maybe over by the punch, but they'll be at the dance.
Hey, what all that matters is as long as you get a chance to get into the dance. And I mean, for the Raiders and the Chargers, for them, this is, honestly, the playoffs start for them today because it's when they get in. So they should already be in playoff mode, both of those teams. The only thing the Cardinals are trying to do is, they're trying to obviously fight for the number 1 seed by winning the division, which, they've been, up and down a little bit this season. Dallas does look good. I think everybody, I guess everybody was on the ledge a little bit last night because a lot of the starters were still in, but I didn't have a problem with the starters being in, particularly on offense, because they needed that. They needed that tune-up.
I agree.
They needed that. Yeah. So I honestly, wasn't really bothered by that. But
that's their job too, right, Marcus? That's their job.
Well, I mean, that's your job. You go play.
What do they say? Play on, player. Play on.
Yeah. When the coach decides to pull you, then you get pulled. Until then, you just play. So, because here's the thing. You can get hurt last night. You could have gotten hurt 3 weeks ago. Doesn't matter. The risk is the same, right? So just go out and play. But if Dallas goes into the playoffs playing the way that they played yesterday on offense and the way that their defense has been opportunistic all season, teams are going to be in trouble. I mean, they're going to have a really good run in the playoffs. Still can't count out, my hippie California guy up in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. You can never count them out. They're playing well. There's a lot of parity. I like the Bengals. I'm glad the Bengals have, kind of come out of the mud and started making a little bit of noise. For me, while everybody, I would say probably with the exception of who I'm on the phone with, everybody likes to see the same teams go, or you're always wanting to see, kind of the traditional teams going to the playoffs. I want to see some random dudes get into the playoffs. Like it'll be, I like Cincinnati being in. I like that Cleveland had an opportunity to get in at least. So some of these other teams that are making some noise, the Chargers are looking like they're right on the lot, right on the cusp of getting into playoffs, just like the Raiders. Tampa, unfortunately for Tampa, their window's about to close. Like it's not all the way closed, but it's cracked because Tom Brady's only got, he claims he's going to play till he's 50. I'd love to see that, but they're going to have, with free agency and everything that's going to be coming up, some of the guys that they're going to need to re-sign. Yes, the cap goes up. I get that, but you're not going to be able to keep everybody. So their window is probably, they got like another year or two, and then their window's going to be closed.
Marcus,
the team.
Who are the sleepers? Who are the sleepers you see? Like, I love the Cincinnati reference. I think Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Oh my God, what kind of top speed does that guy have once he catches the ball?
Yeah.
Unbelievable to run away from the whole stadium, pretty much. But who, in your NFL tenure and experience, who can you say, well, you better watch out for these guys? I've seen this. I've been, in my 4th season, and all of a sudden here came these fools out of nowhere. Who, with your expert eye, do you see may be in that category?
I mean, it'd have to be Cincinnati because everybody else is known, right? The Packers are known, the Rams are known, Tampa's known.
But the Rams with Matthew Stafford, though. I mean, what a great move for him. And then, OBJ, he's playing well with that team. No interruptions, no disruptions, catching touchdowns, just happy to be here. He seems like he probably found a home too.
Yeah, I think he has. And he literally is at home. I think he lives in LA in the off season.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I think McVay that may be it. I think Sean McVay has done a good job of working him into the offense. And getting him involved. And here's the thing, OBJ is at the point where this is what people have to understand. Because of his injury history, he's still battling, trying to get back to who he kind of was. It usually, when you have injuries, especially lower extremity injuries, the way that he did, it usually takes you like a full year and a half to kind of really get back, get your feet back under you. So, per se, but the Rams have done a good job of implementing them. Cooper Kupp opens up everybody. So, that obviously helps. But yeah, and great move from Matthew Stafford. He's always gotten a bad rap just because he's been in Detroit. But he's always been, in my eyes, he's always been a really good quarterback. I mean, he's certainly obviously been better than a guy making $40 million in Minnesota. I just won't say his name. But, being in that system, it seems to work well. They're not a sleeper to me, though, because everybody expects them to go. But the Bengals would probably have to be the sleeper. I would say Tennessee, but Tennessee.
I like the Tyson. I like the Titans.
I like Tennessee, and Tennessee is like. And the thing I like about Mike Vrabel is old school in staying with what the mantra has been. If you look at Super Bowls and playoff runs at Super Bowls, you got to have a defense that travels, and you got to be able to run the football, and they have both of those. So, and that's offensively is obviously where they're a little deficient as far in the passing game, I should say, but everything else they have. So I guess my sleeper would be the Bengals, just because of what they've done so far this year. Can these young guys, get into the playoffs and, try to make a run? And the thing about being young and having success in the NFL is there's not a whole lot of thinking because you're just playing, right? Like, nobody expects you to be here anyway. So, when you're young, you don't care. You just go out and ball. So
I agree with you.
That's dangerous.
I agree with you, Marcus. I think that the Bengals, the way that they've come up this year, they've kind of been under the radar, just kind of playing good football all around, and they snuck in there. And I'm like you, I like them to move forward.
Yeah, I do. I like to see them move forward. I think they'll do well. I think they'll do really well.
Champ, before we let you go, who you got tomorrow night? Uga or Bama?
Man, it's hard. It's hard for me to bet against Saban. It just is. Especially in one of the biggest games in the biggest game of the year. So, yes, Georgia will make it tougher. They'll do some different things, but I'm still, rolling Tide.
All right, fair enough, my friend. Thanks for.
So I got my third board.
All right. Thanks for closing us out. We're gonna wreck them. We're gonna wreck them just for you in West Texas, baby. That's where we come from. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you soon too.
BetOnline.net still has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues its march through the College Bowl season and the Pro Football Playoffs. BetOnline.net remains